You know, some stories just feel bigger. They're not just today's headline, they're the kind of thing that could define tomorrow. We're going to talk about one of those stories right now. It centers on an island, but it's really about the entire world.
And this is the question, isn't it? The one keeping diplomats and generals up at night. Because the answer could literally change the map of the 21st century. So let's unpack this. We're going to look at who's involved, what's on the line, and how this one small island came to hold so much of the world's future in its hands.
Okay, so to really get what's happening here, we have to start with Taiwan itself. Because it's not just a piece of land in the Pacific. In the high-stakes game of geopolitics, it's something called a linchpin.
Think about it like this. A linchpin is that one crucial part that, if you pull it out, the whole structure just collapses. And right now, for the global economy, for the power balance in Asia, even for the phone in your pocket, Taiwan is that piece. So what makes it so vital? What gives it that power?
Well, here's your answer. It's almost hard to believe when you see it laid out like this. Taiwan produces over 90%, let that sink in, 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors. And this didn't just happen overnight. We're talking about decades of laser-focused work to build this incredible powerhouse. The chips in your phone, the servers that run the internet, the brains of modern cars, they all come from this one place.
So the takeaway is pretty simple and pretty stark. The engine that runs our entire digital age, it's built in Taiwan. That doesn't just make the island important, it makes it indispensable. And in the world of international politics, when you're that indispensable, you also become a target.
And this incredible economic power, it's sitting right in the middle of a massive historic rivalry between two giants, China and the United States.
So you've got these two titans, and they see Taiwan in completely different ways. For China, it's simple. They view Taiwan as a part of their country that broke away, one that must be brought back into the fold. And they've made it clear they'll use force if they have to. Then you have the US. Their policy is something called Strategic Ambiguity. It's a fancy way of saying they're deliberately vague about whether they'd step in to defend Taiwan. It's this incredibly tense diplomatic tightrope walk, right? Trying to stop an invasion without actually starting one.
And listen to this from Xi Jinping himself. When he says it's a matter for the Chinese, that's not just talk, it's a very clear message. Beijing is trying to frame this as a domestic issue, their own business, to keep the rest of the world out of it and claim total control over what happens next.
Because you see, this is so much bigger than just a piece of land. For the leadership in Beijing, taking back Taiwan is about national pride. It's about proving their own power and legitimacy. And yeah, it's absolutely a challenge to the way the world has been run, with the US at the center for decades.
Now, a clash like this doesn't just stay between two countries. It radiates outwards. And what it's creating in the Pacific is basically a powder keg, a really tense military situation that's pulling in everyone in the neighborhood, and even countries far beyond.
I mean, just look at this. The military buildup in the region is staggering. China has been pouring money into its navy, its missile forces, all tools designed with one potential goal in mind. And of course, the US and its allies, they're not just sitting back and watching. They're boosting their own presence. See how that gap is closing? Every single day that it gets smaller, the chance of someone making a mistake, a miscalculation, gets bigger.
And it's not just about Washington and Beijing. For Japan, a conflict would threaten the shipping lanes that are their economic lifeblood. For South Korea, the economic shockwaves would be catastrophic. And for Australia, a major US ally, the pressure to get involved would be enormous. You see, the whole region is caught in this web.
Which brings us right back to those tiny little chips. Because if a conflict does break out, Taiwan's semiconductor industry becomes what some people call the economic nuclear option. A war wouldn't just mess up supply chains. It would be like flipping a switch and turning off the entire global tech economy. The damage, it's almost impossible to comprehend.
So when you add it all up, the military standoff, the economic stakes, the clash of ideologies, you realize why it feels like the entire world is just holding its breath.
We're standing at a fork in the road, really. Down one path, you have a fragile kind of stability, held together by diplomacy and the idea that a war is just too costly for anyone. But down the other path, that's where you find chaos, a conflict sparked by a mistake or by pride that could spiral into a global catastrophe.
It's a wild thing to think about, isn't it? That the future of our century, the great story of our time, might be decided not in some grand battle of ideas, but in a strait of water just 100 miles across.
The smallness of the place versus the sheer size of the consequences, it's staggering.
And that leaves us with that one huge question hanging in the air. Will all the talk, all the military posturing, be enough to keep the peace? Or are we watching the first sparks of a fire that could reshape everything we know? We just don't have the answer yet.
At Geotectonics, our mission is to uncover these profound tectonic shifts, offering clarity in a world of complexity. If this analysis deepened your understanding, please like this video to support our work, share it with others who seek real insight, and subscribe to Geotectonics to ensure you never miss our next deep dive. We'll continue to explore the crucial geopolitical movements that define our time. Thank you for joining us.